I like that you said almost the end of social media as we know it, because back in 2014, you said that was the end of the internet as we know it, because rather than us looking at the net as being separate from TV, radio, film, or print, it's the one platform that combines all three, and future generations will see the internet as their media fountain. You were so visionary when that, I literally just quoted you.
Wow. Sounded great.
Yeah, that was amazing. That whoever quoted that, genius. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was pretty visionary. And so the convergence of media and technology has opened up new avenues for content distribution. How do you see streaming platforms, social media, and other digital channels coexisting and complementing each other in the future?
I feel harkens back to that statement you just mentioned, because I feel we're at the point where social media, you've seen the numbers, they've talked about this. Anyone will notice it. If you look at your notifications are no longer limited to you. There are a lot of tactics, retention tactics of, oh, just come in, right? Because everyone is looking to maintain the ARPU and they don't want you to leave the platform at all. There also, we saw from Facebook has done it several different times. YouTube has also done it as well, but paying to bring content to the platform. First, that started with video content, and then it went to audio content after they saw the boom in podcasts, trying to bring those to the platform. We've seen everyone do it. There isn't an expression need for us to do in several different places what we can really do in one. Social platforms gave rise to interactive features that allowed us to network and engage with one another, primarily around our conversations around media, whether that be entertainment or news events and disasters. So what we're really talking about are features that were developed for engagement that TV or radio never had. That's really what we're talking about here. And I think you're starting to see that in Apple. With Apple TV, the group viewing, all of that. I think ultimately, we used to say this back at AOL, and it did come true. There was all this oh, you went to work for AOL, you went for Yahoo to AOL. We're one day it's all just going to be one company. We're all going to be working together, right? And eventually that did happen.
I feel like that's Viacom. I feel like everybody that's worked at Viacom, or there's Viacomers everywhere, I feel like we're all going to come together at some point.
That's what's going to happen at the end of the day. Some people have got some great learners from over here. We all end up in one place, but ultimately there's going to be a need for media to be broadcast easily, accessible in an on-demand way across a major platform, whatever it is. If that YouTube, is that your digital TV, your Roku, who knows? Well, what you're doing around that IP on social media right now, you're going to want to do through that channel. Right? You're going to repost and share with your friends, basically say, watch this. They can do one-click pay from a device or what have you. You're going to want to engage, whether or not you want to participate in that while you're watching. We've seen some of those co-viewing experiences. It can be quite distracting. But I think you're going to start to see more of what people have come accustomed to in social bleed in to other forms of media.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at what we're seeing. You mentioned Apple now with MLB, their MLB rights. They, instead of going the traditional route, acquiring the rights and then giving somebody else the rest of the pie, they're just doing it all, and they're doing it their way. I love that.
They are really the leader. In all honesty, I mean, there's so many things. It's funny because on so many other levels, I think the sport of baseball has just failed from a digital and social standpoint. When you look at their social footprint compared with all of the leagues, they're light years behind. But I don't know if it's just a stat-driven nature of it or what have you, but they have such an immersive, compelling, and just innovative experience. I think all other leagues may take just a page from their book.
Any final thoughts around diversity in tech or startups? Because I know you've said that in the past, you're passionate about these areas and how you have an interest in them.
Indeed. Diversity is something that all of us should find it in ourselves to recognize the value in doing, not something that a government policy or an embarrassing truth about your organization should steer you into. Earlier, I spoke about how traditionally African-American media companies have had a very myopic American-focused purview. A more global perspective, there are more Black people than anyone. And think about how you might be at a disadvantage serving a Black audience when there's no one Black in the room. I had a conversation earlier today with a young woman who was working on a college project that was asking all about many missteps that we've seen in advertising and how some of these blatant things happen. And oftentimes it's because interpretation and assumption, as opposed to actually having someone who's got some of that lived experience. And that's not to say that diversity means that you've got a representative for the race or demo in your office, but it just says that your perspective is that much more informed. That's why, because these things are conversations. And those conversations are always going to be difficult in America because it's a country that's been largely against having that conversation to a public level. So I understand the difficulty of corporations that have to do some of the work that the government hasn't. But as we work to, quite honestly, maintain our leadership position as things shift to a more global economy, it's going to be on all of us as leaders to really do so.
100%. Yeah, I agree. As a woman and as a Latina, the higher up I went, the only either woman or only Latina in the room. And now it's Gen AI and all the artificial intelligence that we're introducing, it's going to be biased. And yeah, it's going to be bad. And you know why I didn't use it in the past, because it wasn't as good. And now it's getting really, really good because there are more people in the back and we're pushing for more representation. It's really good to have these conversations. It's really good that people like you are carrying the conversation forward and are becoming the representation inside the room and enforcing or motivating more people to do the same. Okay, I'm going to blow your mind or not. And my producer doesn't know this either. And we haven't done this yet, but I took all the prep that we did for this interview and your bio and everything, and I put it on ChatGPT, and that helped me generate the questions for this interview. And I had tried this in the past, but the questions were not that good, so I never used them. This time I thought, oh, these questions are pretty on point. So I'm going to use, so all these questions, except some that I added after, I did it on ChatGPT.
Wow.
And I didn't want to tell you guys because I wanted to see what happened.
Wow. That's truly impressive. Truly impressive. Because I've got a lot of garbled stuff from ChatGPT in the past too.
We do. I'm like, this is awesome. So thank you so much. Ken, thank you so much for being here today, for allowing us to listen to your insights into this fascinating topic. We hope to see you again in the future.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. This has been a great conversation.
Thanks for listening to our show. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us at The Media Machine Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. The Media Machine is hosted by me, Johanna Salazar. Our producers are Johanna Salazar, Mia Vinciguerra, and Anthony Martinez. Our editor is Gabriel Pareja. This episode features music from Envato Elements. Thank you for listening.